Hey everybody, it's Caleb Giese, and welcome back to the 2D Society, formerly known as Traditional Domestic Discipline. Obviously, 2D stands for Domestic Discipline. You guys can figure that out, but I'm going to talk about a serious subject today. Now, you guys see the title of this video, and you're probably wondering why I would spend any time whatsoever talking about what many people consider to be a political issue. This whole thing that's come about between Lauren Southern and Andrew Tate. But the reason I'm going to talk about it is because this affects the domestic discipline community. Andrew Tate is somebody who has, I don't want to say he's endorsed the domestic discipline community, but he's spoken in favor of the DD lifestyle every here and there. Not that he's ever spent a whole lot of time talking about the subject, but he's given little nods here and there to it. More importantly, too many guys in the domestic discipline community are being influenced by Andrew Tate. They think Andrew Tate is a good guy to learn about women from. And he's not a good guy to learn about women from. He's one of the worst people on earth to learn about women from. Does he get a lot of women? Yeah. But Andrew Tate is not a good man. He's not a man who's fit for the DD community. But I'll save that for my closing statements. So, last night, Lauren Southern comes out after like a year and a half, 2 years of being quiet. And she writes a book. She's apparently been working on this book. Called This Is Not Real, or Life Is Not Real, or something like that. This Life Is Not Real. Or This Is Not Real Life. That's what it's called. And she releases a couple of free chapters in which she claims that Andrew Tate drugged her and forced himself upon her. Apparently, she had invited him out to a club. I'm sorry, he had invited her out to a club. She went. He invited her there under some kind of false pretense. I don't remember all the specifics of it, but she started feeling ill, but she went back to Andrew's hotel with him. Andrew, long story short, forced himself upon her after her saying no several times. Guys, I want to tell you just flat out, I believe Lauren Southern. I know a lot of people think that Lauren Southern is doing this for attention or money or whatever the case is. But I've been a Lauren Southern fan for 10 years now, on and off. I don't follow her completely closely, but I've been a fan of hers. And when she started moving away from the far right, I was also going through my own journey of moving away from the far right. It just so happened, and I wasn't really influenced by her. It just so happened we started seeing through the nonsense on the far right at the same time. So I watched her journey from far right to more sensible, I guess you could say, centrist opinions. I'm a right-wing centrist, basically, is what I am. And her journey was slow, but she was very, very honest with her journey. She made several videos about it. Talked about her marriage, why her marriage didn't go well, all these sorts of things. And she did this at great peril to herself, because not only did it destroy her reputation, but it pretty much stopped all the flow of money coming into her from, YouTube videos and just being a social media right-wing presence. But she flat said she doesn't believe in things like patriarchy anymore. She doesn't even really believe that the man should lead the house anymore, right? That the man should be the head of the house. That she no longer believes that the man should have authority over the woman in a marriage. Now, I obviously disagree with that, but she went through a very rough marriage by a guy who has those beliefs. So I can't really blame her in her way of thinking about that matter. Lauren Southern has always been a genuine person. She's always been somebody who tells the truth about who she is. Not that she tells you everything that goes on behind the scenes with her. There's stories out there about her sleeping with a lot of guys behind the scenes in the right wing space. Don't know if those stories are true, but I don't care because they say nothing about her actual character. You know what I'm saying? If she slept with a lot of guys, that just means she gets horny sometimes. I don't care about that. If you care about that over her actual character, over how she actually treats people, you are the problem. But I just got off of my train of thought here. Oh, I'm just basically saying that Lauren Southern is somebody who I believe to be on a legitimate spiritual journey, especially over these last 5 years. And she's been brave enough and bold enough to share a lot of that journey with the general public. So I think there's pretty much no chance that she's lying about this. Now, of course, I don't know her in real life. You know what I'm saying? So there could be some chance. And of course, people make up these kind of stories about celebrities all the time. But Lauren does not have a history of spreading outrageous rumors like this. She doesn't have a history of really being dishonest at all. So, just given what I know of her character, what I've seen of her videos and stuff like this. Now, I should tell you that I was actually interacting with Lauren Southern for a while, like 6 years ago, and she had a Discord for a while. And me and her actually had a video conference, not a conference, but like a chat, right, at one time. And me and her don't necessarily get along right now. She's very supportive of police. I am not very supportive of police. We got into a whole big thing about that. This was under my real name. This isn't under my Caleb Geezy name. This was under my real name. So she knows my real name, but I'm not gonna put my real name out there. But even though me and Lauren Southern don't see eye to eye, and you could almost say I lean towards not really liking her, I guess you could say. I believe her to be an honest woman. I believe her to be a woman on an honest journey. And given that she has no history that anybody knows of making up stories like this, I just can't see her making something like this up. I really can't. You know what I'm saying? I just can't do it. Andrew Tate, on the other hand. Now, up until now, I didn't believe any of these stories about Andrew Tate forcing himself on other women, right? As much as I despise Andrew Tate, I thought most of those stories were made up. Because people do that to celebrities all the time. Andrew's got money, and, you know, it just is what it is. But now I don't know. Because now Lauren Southern has accused Tate of the same stuff, and I believe Lauren over Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is not a good man. Does he teach male leadership? Yes. Does he teach that the man should be the head of the household and the absolute boss in the household? Yes. Are those good qualities, especially for the domestic discipline community? You bet they are. They're great qualities. The problem is that Andrew Tate does not value women. Andrew Tate is a man who thinks a woman's entire value is based on their body count. Andrew Tate is a man who thinks that a woman's entire value is based on whether or not a woman has a low or high body count. And he's even directly said the woman could be the sweetest woman on earth, make a great wife, we could be totally compatible. If she's got more than 5 bodies, I'm not dealing with her, I don't care about her, you know, that kind of thing. So there's so many people in the domestic discipline community now that are following people like Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels when he was still alive, and so on and so forth. And this here is just another reason not to. Totally lost what I was going to say again. The domestic discipline community needs to be a place that welcomes all women from all walks of life. If you don't think all women are valuable, then you've got no business leading a woman. You definitely have no business disciplining a woman with a spanking or any other kind of discipline. Because then you're just a tyrant. We're called in the Bible to be understanding of women's weaker nature. We're not called to degrade women for giving into that weaker nature. You know what I'm saying? And we're not called to judge people by anything else except how they treat us anyway. Love your neighbor as yourself. You remember that. I don't care if a woman has 200 bodies. If she treats me right and she has shown loyalty to me, either as a romantic partner or as a friend, she's my friend for life, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Because I value loyalty way more than all this public image, women be chaste nonsense. But the domestic discipline community needs to be a place where all women are welcome, valued, and led with love and proper understanding. Not a place where they're degraded. Not a place where, well, if you got more than 5 bodies, we either don't let you into this community or we constantly degrade you once you're here. That's not cool. But that's the kind of man that Andrew Tate is. If you're going to be part of the domestic discipline community and do it properly, then you can't be that kind of man. And so that's why I talked about this whole subject and tied it to DD, because Andrew Tate is somebody that, for whatever reason, has had a big influence on the DD community. I don't think he practices it. He's given little nods to it here and there, but I don't think that he's practices himself. But a lot of people in the DD community, and even outside the DD community, eat his teachings up. And it sucks because he does have a lot of good teachings. He just has a lot of horrible ones to go with him. You know what I'm saying? Now, you might ask me, what if it turns out that Lawrence Southern is lying and Andrew Tate is innocent of this situation? What if that becomes the case? Well, if that becomes the case, I will definitely lose all respect for Lawrence Southern. Because even though me and her don't get along personally at the moment, I still respect her and I still respect her journey and I still respect her for what I believe to be an honest woman. You know what I'm saying? But I'd certainly lose respect for her. But my mind won't change about Andrew Tate at all, because even if he's innocent of this, he's still an awful human being. And he has no place in a community like the domestic discipline community that's supposed to be about loving guidance. Now, I can't control the entire domestic discipline community. There's too many offshoots of it. There's too many different groups. I can't control them all. But I can control what goes on in the 2D society, because I created that. And this pro Andrew Tate garbage, his garbage teachings about women are not welcome in the 2D society. You're fine to come with questions. I heard Andrew Tate say this. Is this true? Yeah, that's fine. But if you're just like becoming a Tate bro, or you are a Tate bro, I'm going to pick up on your attitude and I'm going to boot you from the community really quick. All right? You're not welcome here at all if you have Andrew Tate's attitude. So to close, I believe Lawrence Southern. I believe what happened to Lawrence Southern. I believe Andrew Tate really did this to Lawrence Southern. Just judging by what I know of Lawrence Southern's character, I can't say that she's lying. She's not a liar, generally speaking. Like, she lies about some stuff, but the stuff she lies about is like to protect her privacy and stuff like that. But She's always had a super genuine spirit. So I'm siding with Lauren Southern. But like I said, if you're a real domestic disciplinarian and you want to be in a domestic discipline relationship and you want a woman to submit to you, you can't be like Andrew Tate. That's just not going to work. Either the woman's going to leave you, rightfully so, or you're going to break her spirit, or you're going to turn her into a female version of Andrew Tate. None of which are good scenarios. All right, guys, that's about it for this one.